Friends, welcome back to my channel Six Sigma by MBA Mohit Sharma. This video is also on robotic process automation. In this video, we are going to learn three things. First one is how to get data from Excel into UiPath. And the second is how to build data table in UiPath. And the third is use of if statement. So what we have data of movie names, their year of release, and their rating. So the question for the day is, movies where rating is greater than 8, we should write good in the remarks column. Movies which are between 6 and 8, we should write average. And movies which are less, we should write poor in the remarks column. So I'll show you some data in the Excel sheet. So this is the file which I have. In column A, we have the name of the movies. In column B, we have the rating of the movies. And what we have to do is we have to put good, average, and poor in the remarks column. So let me first create a bot. I will name this bot as training bot. This is the first page that you will get. And the first thing that we have to do is we have to pull a flowchart from the activities tab. We will create our bot either in flowchart or in sequence. So here we will create our bot in the flowchart. So friends, whenever you have to use Excel sheet in UiPath, you have to get data or you have to transfer data back to the Excel sheet. You have to use Excel application scope. The next thing that we will do is we will find out Excel application scope. We will drag and drop it here just before start, and we will put the connector also. I have already saved my movie review data file in the same place where I have created this bot. So I will just select the path, and whenever I will select the path, it should be in the double quotes here. And now you have to read the data from this file, and for that you will use read range. Just drag and drop read range here. So it will read data from sheet number 1, and now you have to save this data, and for that you have to create a variable here. And how you create a variable, you do control K and you save this data in UiPath, which is with the name movie review. And if you click enter, then you will be able to see your variable here. It is a data table which has been created, and you have to change the scope of this from do to flowchart. Now you go back to your main flowchart. You have got the data from Excel sheet into UiPath. The next thing that we are going to learn is build data table. So you have to drag and drop this under Excel application scope, connect it, double click, and when you see this, it is saying build data table. So here you click on this added column, change the column name to name of the movie. So these columns, they should read the same. So name is the first thing, second thing is the rating, and third thing is the remark. So you have to create name, you have already created, you have to create rating, and third, if you have to create, you click on this plus sign, and here you create remarks and click OK. There is an extra row which is there, you remove this row by clicking on this X sign and click OK. So what we have done, we have created a data table, and that data table has 3 columns, which is name, rating, and remarks. Whatever data will be created in this data table should be stored somewhere. I am creating another variable for this. This tool which I am using to capture the screen is not capturing the entire screen. So every time I have to reduce the screen size to show you how I create the variables. So in data table column, in the output column, you create control K and create a variable, anything which is relevant, which you can easily recall and remember. I have created final data variable in which this data would be stored, and you go back to the variable column and see final data is already there. I will maximize my screen now. What we have done so far is we have got the Excel data into UiPath. We have built a data table in the UiPath where the data which is already there with us will be processed and stored. Whenever you have to do some function or work in the Excel sheet, you have to use for each row. So you drag and drop for each row under build data table. So I have placed them a little closer so that I could make some space. Double click on it, and For each row, you have a column here where you can pass the Excel data which we have stored in movie review. So for each row, you pass on the movie review variable which you have already created. What it will do, it will get your data which you have stored in UiPath, which you got it from the Excel sheet. So the next thing that we will learn is the function of if inside UiPath. So you drag and drop if in the body of this for each row. Whenever you get data from Excel sheet to UiPath, it converts every data into string. So because we have to put a condition, we will convert our data into integers. And for that we have C int. C means convert into integer, and then we will say row. So under row you will start a bracket and you will start writing in double colons rating should be greater than equal to 8. So the next thing, if it is greater than equal to 8, then you have to use assign, drag and drop assign in the first box, then create a variable here with the name remarks. And if you look at this variable, the variable remarks is a generic type and its scope should be the flowchart. So you change the scope to flowchart, and in this we should pass on good. So what this condition is doing, when my rating is greater than equal to 8, I am assigning remarks as a variable, and in that remarks column we have written good. So whenever the rating is greater than 8, our remarks will be good. And the next is you have to put another decision, which is another if here, drag and drop another if condition. So in this if condition, the next is C int row, again start a bracket, and in the double columns say rating. If it is less than 8, now you have to use and condition, and C int row double column rating greater than equal to 6. I will use assign once again, drag and drop assign here, and I will use the same variable remarks. If I type R, all the variables they start showing up. So I will use remarks from here, and then I will pass it on average, and I will have to again copy paste the same and change this to poor. Our first condition was when a rating is greater than 8, it will give the remarks good, and when the rating is between 8 and 6, it will give us remarks average, else it will give us remarks as poor. So we will put add data row here below this. The table which we have created in UiPath by using build data table, we will add this data into build data table. Double click on it. So in array column, if you go in the array column, you start writing how you should write an array. Array always start with a parenthesis in which you start writing row, and then in double colon you write the name. It will pass on the name here, and then you start writing another row. In double quotes pass on rating, and now you have all the decisions stored in the variable called remarks. So you double click on it to select and remove this dot from in front of the remarks and click OK. And here you need to select the data table as well. So data table was final data which we have created. So what this function will do, it will store all these three columns which we have selected in the array, name, rating and remarks, into the data table which we have created as final data, and go back to the flowchart. So what we have done so far, we have got the data from the Excel sheet into Excel application scope. Then we have stored the data into movie review variable. Next thing that we did was we built the data table in UiPath, the data to be stored in another variable which is called final data. We have created that variable, and then we got for each row where we made some decisions, if then and boxes, and the remarks that we are saying good, average and poor against the movie name and the rating should be stored in the data table which we have created by using build data table. We have to now put this data back into the Excel sheet. How we can do it? We will use Excel application scope again. Excel application scope should be dragged and dropped here. I will create some more space so that you can see the entire screen. I will give the same path, movie review. So what this will do is it will overwrite the entire Excel sheet. So that is why when you are saving data in UiPath and creating a data table in UiPath, all the headers should be same. Select the right range, drag and drop it here. It will save data in sheet 1 and it will start from column A1, and I have to pass on this data which is data table which is in the final data. So friends, in Excel application scope, when you are using right range, you have to check on this add header column. By default it is not checked. It should start pasting the data from A1 including the headers. Otherwise it will exclude the headers and start pasting the data. Go to the main and run the program. So now let's go back and see how our data looks like. So now look at this. We have all these movie names which have rating greater than equal to 8. We have remarks as good, where the rating is between 6 and 8. Nayakan, movie number 4, has rating of 6, and movie number 5 has rating of 7. They both has remarks as average. And wherever we have less than 6, movie number 12, which is Dangal, remarks is poor. So friends, I hope you like this video, and if you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.